Hi, my name is Noelle Stewart. I'm going to be meeting with my client, Karen. Karen is 45 years old. She is a single white female, and she is a survivor of complex trauma. She was sexually abused by her stepfather from age 7 through age 12, and then she was physically and emotionally abused by all of the men that she's been in relationships with, including the father of her children. She was in a car accident where she was driving, and the car accident resulted in the death of her 12-year-old daughter. However, the event that has hit her the hardest and is the most recent is the death of her mother. Her mother experienced some medical distress, and she was trying to convince her mother to let her take her to the hospital. And the mother kept saying, no, 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 I don't want to go to the hospital. I'm fine, I'm fine. And finally, she ended up putting her in the car, and she started driving to the hospital, and the mother passed away on the way there. So Karen, as a result, blames herself for her mother's death, and that experience kind of replays over and over in her head, and she has nightmares about it. In addition, she's been experiencing panic attacks, nightmares, and hyperarousal. She is most triggered by loud noises, which may be a result of the car crash. Also, too many people speaking at the same time really bothers her, so she avoids being in crowds or anywhere where there's more than a few people. She reports paranoia. She often feels as though she's being followed by something or someone dangerous. Most recently, she experienced dissociation. She ended up at Walgreens in the middle of the night and has no idea how she got there. So she was unable to account for 1.5 to 2 hours where she just kind of was in a blackout. And she kind of came to when she was buying cigarettes and standing there at the register saying, I have no idea, how long I've been gone from my house, how I got here, what I'm doing here. She was in her pajamas, so that was really, really scary for her. So we'll go ahead and meet with Karen. Hi, come on in. Okay, have a seat. If you're comfortable, you can go ahead and close the door behind you. Okay. So Karen, I want to first start off by talking about your assessment with our psychiatrist. I really, really appreciate you meeting with him and sharing your story with him. I know that that must have been very difficult for you. So it was really, really brave of you to come in and go through that, because it's probably the longest couple hours of your life, huh? And I don't want to make you share everything with me again. I did read over your assessment and some of the things that you've experienced. And I wanted to start out by sharing your diagnosis with you. If you didn't already, you were diagnosed with PTSD, which would explain a lot of your symptoms, especially the paranoia and the nightmares, and all the anxiety and panic attacks. So for today, for the rest of our session, what I'd like to do is just provide a little bit of education on the impact of trauma in somebody's life, and a little bit of how trauma affects our brains and affects our bodies, if that's okay with you. Okay? So trauma starts out by affecting the part of the brain that's known as the limbic system. So the limbic system controls our nervous system and our physical responses for everything. So our heartbeat, our breathing, body temperature, our muscles, whether we're tense or whether we're relaxed. When you experience something really scary, your body will go into survival mode. So your brain will tell your nervous system to respond in a certain way, and typically you will either have this fight or flight response. So if you go with fight, you are going to kind of stand your ground, and whatever threat you feel like is coming or is headed your way, you're going to stay there and you're going to fight it. With flight, you are going to run away as fast as you can and try to escape whatever threat is headed towards you. In the event that you feel like you're not going to be able to survive the fight, or if you're not going to be able to run away fast enough and escape whatever the threat is or the scary thing is, then your body will go into what's called the freeze mode, where basically it does this to protect itself or to protect you from feeling pain, and you become kind of numb to everything and just freeze. And then once the threat goes away and your brain will tell your body that, hey, it's safe again, it sends off this signal. So this chemical called cortisol is released, and that is the signal, hey, you can relax, the threat's gone, we're okay. Other parts of the brain that are involved when you go through trauma are the hippocampus and the amygdala. So the hippocampus has a lot to do with your memories of what you've gone through. And unfortunately, when you've been through trauma and you're unable to process the event successfully, the hippocampus, the activity within that is going to slow down and decrease. And this makes you feel like you're still in danger. So that leads to all these stressful responses, like constantly feeling like something's going to get you, always being on the alert. What I like to call, you're walking down the street and maybe you feel like electricity, or your hair's all standing on end, or you're on alert, like you have all your antennas out making sure that it's safe because you don't feel safe. And then the amygdala is responsible for emotion, or how you experience emotion. And the activity in the amygdala increases, which results in what's called hyperarousal. So the combination of that is basically your body's reacting as though you're in danger almost constantly, but you're unable to realize consciously that the danger's already passed. So, whatever happened, and you're safe now. So when we've been through trauma and when we're diagnosed with PTSD, for some reason, we're not able to give our bodies the signal like, hey, you're safe now. You can calm down. With therapy, what I'd like to do is to start, over the next few sessions or so, is to teach you how to tell your body to calm down, and teach you how to tell your brain that, hey, we're safe, we can relax. So in doing that, we're going to work on what's called some grounding skills. I want to work on some mindfulness techniques with you, and I would also like you to continue to see our psychiatrist here and, follow along with whatever treatment he's prescribing, or if there's medications involved, to follow along with that. So, do you have any questions? All right. Well, thank you to coming in, and I really, really look forward to getting started with you.